I must admit, as a language learner who has really loved textbooks my whole language learning journey, doing comprehensible input only has been a struggle for me. That is, until I have found Lingua. Now, I was talking with a language coaching client of mine who had talked about her own success with using Lingua for German, and so I've been trying it out for these last few months, and I must say, I really like it, especially for when I am learning Portuguese and Dutch at the same time. So I'm just going to show you in this video how I like to use it. So what Lingua essentially is it uses AI to create stories based on your level in your language, and it also determines which words you need to see again. And then it creates stories so that you see the same words, but just across different contexts. If by the end of this video you're interested in trying it out for yourself to see if it works for you, feel free to use my affiliate link, which is linked either in the description or in the pinned comment below. You'll see that I'm starting first with Dutch. Main language is going to be in German. That's one thing that I really like about Lingua, because they do have a lot of languages available, but that also means you can easily language stack. So if you have been learning more than one language and you have a stronger language, then you don't necessarily have to use, your native language all the time. I like to language stack in between similar languages so that my brain can really understand the differences between, especially the spelling of when I read in both languages. Reading section, listening section, writing section, as well as speaking, vocabulary, and grammar. I mainly use them for reading. I've already picked out the topics. Those are always going to be in the top left-hand corner. So I can choose to either delete it if I've already read it. I can see how much time it's going to take me. This shouldn't be taking me a long time, so I'm going to click on it. Now you'll already see words are highlighted already, and that essentially means trying to still retain them. And from my recent stories and other practice sessions with Lingua, these are the same words, but just in a different story this time. I can also click on Generate Audio. You can pick which voice you get the audio in. I believe there are 5 possibilities at this point, but also adjust the speed or also download the audio as well. It does track your streak too, as you see up here, what level you're in, just in terms of how many words you accumulate. But you can also go to the main site and just see exactly how many words you have almost gotten to. And then I still need 543 more words in order to get to level 3. You can also see even more detail about what progress you have made. It'll even have the exact words that you have seen and how often you've seen them. What I also really like is, say that I'm just reading, find a word that I do not know. Let's say this word right here. So it's going to highlight that for me. I can listen to the audio, and then I can add it to a specific deck. To mark that it's a new word for you, tell what level it generally is seen in. So this is more B1, B2 instead of my level, A1, A2. And then it'll also give you a definition in the target language as well, with some more examples, picture, as well as alternative translations too. If you, for some reason, cannot have all the time to read one specific story, you can keep on marking it as read up until the point of you having to stop. And then it's a really just nice bookmark. Then they always have about 3 questions that check your reading comprehension at the end. What I would do is I would read out loud the story in full if I had the full time. Then I would listen to the audio while reading the story, again highlighting any words that I'm unsure about or don't know, and then listen to the story again, probably on 0.8 speed, and not try to read along, again, just to work more on listening. If I do feel up for it, I will then, after listening for a 4th time, go back to the beginning of the story and read out loud what I think the pronunciation is. Because German is my more advanced language, I will default to pronouncing Dutch words in German, which is not what I want to do. I want to start working past that. So I find that reading out loud afterwards is really, really helpful. It'll remind you through spaced repetition what cards are best for you to review if you haven't seen them for a while. With AI being able to generate these stories, AI is also able to generate pictures so that you essentially don't have to make your own flashcards anymore, which is pretty nice. You can do either recall, you can do a mix of recall and recognition, which is usually what I do. You can fill in the text with example sentences if you would like. You can also simply hear, and then you have to recognize the word in sort of multiple choice format as well. Or you could also fully write your answer instead of just relying on multiple choice. If I click on our mix between recall and recognition, it'll usually have the right image that goes with whatever definition. When I am really consistent with it, usually spend like 1 to 2 hours per day on this site only. What I just showed you in between Dutch and German, I also do with Portuguese because I do have a strong Italian, Spanish, and French background. So doing a lot of comprehensible input in this way with a similar language, again, it helps me to recognize more faster. Now, the few cons that I found, simply because AI itself is just not perfect, are the following. It does happen rarely, but the AI images on flashcards don't always match the meaning, which makes it then harder to recall. I remember when I had a flashcard that was telling me how to say basically cash in Dutch. The German word for cash is bar. I was given a picture of literally a bar in a restaurant instead of the actual money. Sometimes the verb conjugations in different stories are wrong. So you would see something like a pessoa fala instead of a pessoa fala, right? I do catch those again because I have a strong background, but it would be harder to catch if I wasn't that familiar with the language in general, or I just didn't have a strong background. I wouldn't say that you can start from absolute zero with this platform, at least an A2 and above. Again, I had no problem jumping into it as well, but I did notice that if I had tried Japanese, right, they have a whole different writing system anyways on top of trying to just read. So it is something that I would not suggest you using if you just have zero or very limited knowledge of the language. If you want to upload your own PDF, your own ebook, your own article, etc., Lingua, again, will use AI to translate the book for you. Add new words into your flashcards that way. You can upload audio and it'll give you a transcript and you can add your, vocabulary from there. You do have the option to also speak, practice writing, practice your grammar as well. So overall, I definitely recommend, very worth it if you enjoy reading sustainably and you really like to track your word count in a language, if you really like comprehensible input in general, and you need spaced repetition and just also a variety of reading materials so that you don't get bored. If you really enjoy pairing audio with reading as well. If you are interested, make sure, if you would like to support the channel, to use the affiliate link and check out if Lingua is something you want to include in your comprehensible input practice. I never recommend anything to other language learners that I haven't tried extensively myself, but I can truly recommend this for those who have particular preferences, especially for reading. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see each other in another video soon.